Hi, my name is Cinnamon Ruth Leggett, and I'm an expert in the area of worship. Welcome back to the Worship Kitchen. Today I want to talk to you about something important in the area of worship, and it is called time. One of the important questions that people ask about worship is how long should it be, and how long should the songs be? Well, the answer to this question depends on the type of church that you're in and the type of worship sets that you're trying to create. But I want to start by telling you this story. About 3 years ago, I was invited to do a worship set. And what you need to know is that prior to that, I came out of an environment that worship would take anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes to an hour. Sometimes we would be in church for a really long time, up to 2 hours. And so I was used to worship being a lengthy process. When I went to this church to do worship, they asked me to do worship, but to do worship in 15 minutes. Well, you can imagine the shock on my face when I started to think about how I was going to do worship in 15 minutes of time. I mean, don't you tarry in the presence of God? I mean, don't you spend time and sing the songs over and over again, go back to your chorus and go back to your verse? Well, that morning I got there, and in talking to the musicians, I said, guys, how are we supposed to do worship in 15 minutes? Are we just doing like 1 or 2 songs? And they said, nope, we're doing 4 songs in 15 minutes. And so then I started to think, okay, so somehow I've got to shrink these songs down to like 3 minutes each to get them all in 15 minutes. And how was God going to come and visit us in 15 minutes of time? I mean, doesn't it take 2 hours for God to come and spend some time with us in worship? So I began the set. And within 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, I remember feeling and sensing the presence of God so very strong. And it was at that moment, that particular day, that my idea about how long worship should take, it completely changed. Within 15 minutes, God had done all that he needed to do with everybody that was in that particular environment. The question is, what made the difference? So as I've spent time thinking about this particular day and obviously continuing worship sets after that, I have considered what made the difference. And I think that the difference was the position and the hearts of the people. You see, worship is an inward experience lived out and not an outward experience lived inside. Worship begins from the inside out. It doesn't start from the outside in. And so if one's heart is already ready for worship, then does it need to take an hour, or should it take 15 minutes? I think that the answer to the question really depends on your specific church body and what you're trying to accomplish. I still attend church services and do worship sets that are at times 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and an hour long. But I know now that it doesn't even take 15 minutes to have worship. It really only takes 1 second. Because when your heart is completely ready to have a conversation with the Father, it doesn't take long at all. My name is Cinnamon Ruth Leggett, and I'm an expert in the area of worship. I hope that I've answered the question today, how long does worship actually take? So join us as we continue to dive into the questions that many of you have as you begin to build your own worship teams and your own worship experience. I hope you guys have a great week.